Yo, yo, yo. What's up, guys? Good morning, good day. What time it is for you? Happy Friday, baby. Happy Friday. Hope everybody's doing well. We'll do the news as always for today, February 10th, and then we will hop into what should be basically day 4-ish of Hogwarts Legacy. So, I'm not sure how long we'll go today. Still a bit under the weather, man. So I'll try to get us a good amount of gameplay in though, and we'll have a good day and do what we do, baby. Yeah, do what we do. So before we hit the news, this is what we're listening to this morning. Some Crypt of the Necrodancer, baby. Cool rhythm-based adventure RPG. And it's got a very solid, extensive soundtrack. So if you dig what you're listening to, man, then go check out the soundtrack and even the game if the genre sounds cool to you. Crypt of the Necrodancer. Go. Let's get into the news. Let's go. What we got? Yeah. Yeah, the controversy around the game continues. We had our own little situation yesterday, did we not? Yeah. It brings up an important, I think an important topic for us to cover in, you know, good and bad ways to raise awareness for whatever cause anybody might be advocating for. We had some pretty toxic stuff happen during our gameplay yesterday, and shout out to this community because you all handled it like absolute champs, the absolute legends you are. Thank you. And it's unfortunate that we have to deal with this kind of situation at all, that there's any kind of discrimination and any kind of discrimination and persecution for groups around the world that absolutely don't deserve it, what's up, brother? Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell if it was just somebody trying to be a troll or if it's somebody that's actually trying to advocate for the trans community, what happened to us yesterday, but if it was somebody that's actually trying to advocate for the trans community, they did it in a very, very poor way. And again, I mean, specifically in regards to this situation, throwing everybody that plays the game into a bucket as a trans hater and saying that everybody that plays the game is a supporter of J.K. Rowling and J.K. Rowling sentiments is absolutely not fair. This is a world that was created a long time ago before J.K. Rowling ever expressed those sentiments, and a lot of people fell in love with this world. There are a lot of people in the trans community that I think are lovers of the Harry Potter world, you know what I mean? So, are they necessarily playing the game right now because of those sentiments? Probably not. But once upon a time, they were probably big fans of this universe, My honor. Don't eat it in my honor, dude. From what I heard about Chick-fil-A, that's not necessarily an organization I would like to be affiliated with either, from what I understand. At least that's what Cash was telling me yesterday, So, I don't know, man. I mean, look, you guys know how I feel about things, and this is a very accepting and open and welcoming, a safe spot for anybody as long as you're a good person, man. I don't care. Live your best life, dude. Don't, be a civilized individual. Understand that it's okay for people to be different, and let people live their best lives. As long as people aren't exuding hate and toxicity and pushing negative viewpoints on other individuals and promoting hate and violence and things, then if you're a loving individual, you belong here. I'm not great, Kayla. I still feel pretty beat up, but we'll make it, man. We'll make it. And so, people that want to advocate for a good cause, there are good ways to go about it, and then there are ways that make yourself and that uh, you know demographic or organization or group, whatever, whoever you're trying to advocate for, it also makes them look bad whenever you go about spewing hate onto other people, you know what I mean, instead of trying to advocate for them in a positive way. And that's exactly what happened in here yesterday, and that's an unfortunate thing, Yeah, yeah, thanks, Kayla. Yeah, I'm pretty beat up. I'm pretty beat up. We'll be okay though. We'll be okay. Lots of congestion. My throat right now feels better than it did yesterday. Thank God. Yesterday my throat was really really bad. So my throat feels better, but I'm just trying to work my way through it, man. So it'll be all right though. Thanks for asking. So, I mean, look, overall, it's absolutely unfortunate that we have to deal with this situation at all. That the creator behind this universe has those kinds of feelings. I don't agree with them, but you know, we've talked enough. We've talked enough about it. Um, I've got anybody that wants to come in here and try to act like this is a community that's bigoted or persecuting anybody is out of their mind, and they absolutely don't know what we're about. And just a second, where is this at? I don't have this up on YouTube yet, but this is what I was thinking this morning, man. I should have thrown this at them. I have a highlight that would have been really good to throw at that individual yesterday, and been like, dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. Where's this at? I'm gonna make sure I have it available. Um, what's this? There we go. This will work. This is at least something. You know what I mean? Yeah, super hateful, right? Like, what's funny is like I just addressed this entire situation. I've got a highlight from the new segment we did on The Sims 4, including you know, trans character traits and how I was in support of that, and I think it's a good thing. And we get people coming in here trying to be the way they were yesterday, and it's like, man, you have no idea like what community this is. You're just coming in here and judging people off of nothing, and it's really sad to see people do that. But you guys handled it amazing, and I appreciate it very much. And ultimately, I think the way that we handled it was the reason why this troll, if you will, did not um, stick around and continue to cause issues, because everybody handled it very, very well. So thank you guys. um, we'll move on. Just be done with that topic, man. See what we got. See what we got. Yeah, yeah. I mean, look. I mean, I'm not downplaying the seriousness of the many 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 different issues that we deal with in society, because it's real and it's unfortunate. And I mean, I'm an advocate for trying to get people to wake up and realize that it's okay for people to be different, and you don't have to believe the same thing as other people, and that's okay. I mean, um, I kind of I preach that kind of thing all the time. you know, we have too many issues of uh, persecuting people just because they're different than we are, or different than you are, whatever. You know, it's unfortunate. And but again, I think there's appropriate ways to go about trying to wake people up, right? Appropriate ways to try to open people's eyes to get them to learn about being a civilized person and addressing these things, and instead of being a hate-filled person and addressing these things. And that person yesterday was not doing this in the right way. If they were in fact somebody that's trying to advocate for the trans community, they did it in a very, very, very poor way, which made themselves and that community look bad. And it's not good, man. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh man, yeah. Game Boy games are definitely a big addition to the Switch Online experience, man. No doubt. This is a big deal for a lot of people. This is very cool. We saw this coming from the Nintendo Direct a couple of days ago, and that's very good stuff, dude. Did I not put that at 24 hours? All right, here we go. Hmm. I'm talking about. I'm not gonna just keep diving into that. You know. Hold on one second, guys. Oh yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah. There's usually mods in and out and stuff, you know. So I appreciate it. And it was, yeah, it was pretty easy to handle. It was, I'm not gonna lie. At first, like I was like, oh no, you know, because there are potential situations where the amount of bots that could be getting thrown in there and everything could have gotten a little bit out of hand. But fortunately enough, it wasn't too bad, and I was able to knock it out pretty quick. If it had escalated where I needed somebody else, then I would have tried to reach out. But usually I've gotten mods in and out and stuff. But I appreciate it, Kayla. Yeah, thank you very much. Where was that, dude? Hold on. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right. Cool. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That's what. Yeah, exactly what I was just saying. Yeah, yeah. It could have, and if it would have, I would have reached out to somebody too. So I appreciate it. Yeah. But again, I think it was the way that we handled it really that kind of just knocked it out. You know. Yeah. 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 I mean, yesterday, fortunately enough, you know, the moderation stuff that I have set up inherently just through bots and stuff of my own caught a lot of the stuff that was going on and didn't allow it through to chat. So that's another reason, you know, I get a lot of people that have been like, man, it's crazy how often like wild, like just like things get caught in your chat that need moderation to go through. And I'm like, yeah, because it's kind of strict, but I'd rather things get caught for moderation that don't need actual moderation than vice versa. And that was a prime example yesterday of why, um, you know, when something happens that actually, you know, getting those. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely catches you off guard, and to have those default kind of moderation guards set up, because there was a lot of stuff they were throwing in chat or trying to throw in chat that didn't get allowed. They got held for moderation and automatically, and it was a good thing. Yeah. What's up, Mamzelle? How are you? Yeah, we got that up. I'm still beat up, man, but it's cool. We'll go. We'll we're gonna send it. You know, my throat at least feels a little bit better for now, anyways. But I just still feel beat up. Yeah. Thanks for asking, though. We talked about this yesterday. I did rest. I'm resting. I'm resting. I mean, you can only sleep so much, though. You know what I mean? Vic, do you really feel bad, dude? I mean, dude, I passed out last night. Like after the stream, like I I ate and then I slept for like 3 hours, man, and then I woke up and ate some more dinner and chilled out for a couple hours, and I went back to sleep and slept all night long. So I'm resting. I'm resting. Yeah, I know. I know that. I know that. That's why, I mean, I did a shorter stream yesterday. I'll probably do a shorter stream today. I'm not pushing myself, if you know what I mean. That's the thing. I'm not gonna push myself too hard. So yeah, I know that rest doesn't necessarily mean sleep, but I also I want to get some streaming in. I'll be okay. Thanks, so. Yeah, free Epic games. We'll just talk about this right now. Right now, this changed over yesterday. You can get Recipe for Disaster for free on Epic, and that's for roughly the next week. And then it'll be War Pips. I have no idea what this is, but War Pips will be after that. All right. Weird. This is an odd thing. Only having one free game this week. And we'll see if they do the same thing next week or if they add in another free game at that point. Yeah. Men stubborn. You can't stereotype that, dude. Stop it. You can't, bro. You're stereotyping a gender. You can't do that. Stop it. Oh Jesus, dude. Worst heartburn ever, dude? No. uh, that sucks, dude. You guys are wild, dude. So yeah, go get your free game. Go Recipe for Disaster. Solid. Let's keep moving. I can't even think. My brain is moving like usually 3 head speed. You know what I mean? That's my normal brain speed. 3 head. I'm like Snell 3 head today. It's real slow. All right, Kayla. Yo, yeah. I hope work goes well. Yeah, we'll see you a little bit later. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, my friend. Yeah, appreciate it. I had to shave yesterday, dude. That way everybody can see my fat, my double chin I've got. You know what I'm saying? See how thick I'm getting. I was getting tired. I had to change. I was getting tired of the look, man. I had to change up the look. By the way, There's another. Hold on. If you want to know what that whole. There's actually use for this. There's use for this. Hold on. Yeah, right here. There you go. Yo, gamer, what's up, buddy? That clip that I just put in chat that it explains what this extra kind of flappa, what I got going on under here. That's what this is used for. All right. Gamer, how you been, buddy? Let's read this. We got Knockout City players up in this community and stuff, and I know that the announcement of the game closing was a shock to a lot of people. There are a lot of games closing right now, and we'll see what else. We've already read about the closure of the game, but we'll take a dive into what they're saying. Yeah, so excited for Sunday, dude. You all you do is work 6 day weeks now, huh? You only get 1 day off a week every week now, huh? It's crazy, brother. Oh, League of Legends source code allegedly on the black market. This is as a result of Riot getting hacked. Um, the hackers basically were telling Riot they were going to do this if Riot didn't pay them a certain amount of money, and Riot said we're not doing that. Get wrecked. So here it is, man. We'll take a look at that, see what's going on. Oh, dude, that sucks, brother. I think that's the thing that's so brutal for most of us. Childhood, your youth goes like that, dog. It's like so fast. Just like seems like a blink of an eye and our youth is gone, and then it's like you spend the majority, most of us anyway, spend the majority of the rest of our lives grinding away, dude. Grinding away, trying to survive. Trying to survive, dude. And most of the time jobs that we don't enjoy very much, and then by the time you can finally retire, dude, most of us are old, beat up. A lot of the things that you wanted to do after retirement, you don't have the energy or the physicality to really enjoy to do anymore, and you know outwork most of the younger guys at my work. Well, hey, dude, good for you, man. It's a weird situation for most of us, and what we strive to do for grinding all those years and years and years, man, and then at the end of it's like, how much do you really have left? It's unfortunate. Yeah, we've been talking about this. I'm not a fan, dude. Uh, I actually, I was on Imager last night. What did somebody comment? Somebody commented about something. It had to do with this. Somebody was like, "Well, look, man, games have been $60 for like 20 years now, and so how can anybody be mad that the price is getting raised?" And I was like, "Dude, you are not recognizing the fact of all the other monetization, you know, incorporations that these developers have been putting into games. since that time that they haven't needed to raise the price of the games because they're getting money all kinds of other ways. Which for me, I still don't feel like they need to raise the price of games right now because they're making all kinds of money through in-game transactions and whether it be battle passes or DLC or whatever. I mean, it's it's crazy, man. Go look at how much money these companies are making. You know what I'm saying? Go look at how much profit they're making a year. That you think they need a $70 price mark? It's just another obstacle for a lot of people living paycheck to paycheck to enjoy the world that most of us love. PUBG developer is making a Tarkov style extraction shooter. Imitation, right? Lord of the Rings RoboCop games to be shown off at the Nikon event. Okay. Yeah, I mean, one way or another, it's like, yeah, look, if you want to raise the prices of games to $70 a pop or whatever, then yeah, I think that the additional content you need to quit doing that to people. You need to quit if you want to raise the prices of games up front, then content that comes out after the fact should be included, right? If you don't want to raise, because I mean there's already been this precedent over the, set over the past 20 years that they don't need to raise the prices because they've got too many other monetization things being incorporated into the games. So why now do they need to raise the price as well? And there are all these people going, well, the price hasn't been raised in 20 years. And it's like, yeah, but you're not looking at the entire picture, man. It's crazy. And look, guys, you know how I feel about it. It's different for if there's I don't have as much of an issue if a game comes out at a $60 price point and then a couple of years down the line they come out with a huge expansion or something. I'm like, cool, man. Yeah, that's probably worth buying into. And I use this as an example all the time, like the Witcher games, dude. The DLC they had for Blood and Wine and Heart of Stone and stuff. Those were really good expansions, man. They were really, really good. There's a lot of content, very well developed, great story. I mean, it was all good stuff and worth the money, I would say. But quite often, it's not. In a lot of games, the DLC, the extra content you're paying for and everything, it doesn't feel worth. Not the way it used to, anyways. Mm. Bro. This is really cool, dude. I'm so glad Nintendo is doing this. Bro. Well, it looks like AEW's wrestling game has been officially rated by the ESRB. That means it's coming pretty soon. Bro. They got a bunch of videos out about the making of the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. We've seen a little bit of it, but that's pretty cool, man. They're showing a lot of how the game was made and stuff. It's pretty cool. Excuse me. Oh no way, dude. Oh, give me a flipping break. Oh. Bobby Kotick will absolutely remain Activision CEO if Microsoft deal fails, it's claimed. I thought this was going to say if Microsoft deal like comes to fruition, you know what I mean? If they're able to buy. I was like, "What?" Cuz they're dude, that's the first thing that has to happen in my opinion. If Activision Blizzard gets bought by Microsoft, Microsoft has to oust this fool. Hey, Wick. You want me to get you this article, dog? 7 amazing Xbox Game Pass games that you can beat. Well, what's the whole bro thing in chat about, dude? What's going on? Do you think you could beat all 7 of these? Pull it up. I'll pull it up, dog. We'll find out. All right. This is just speculation. How powerful will the Nintendo Switch 2 be? About as powerful as it can be based off of if they're making it actually a Switch 2, if it's going to be the same, if it's going to be based off mobile hardware, if it's going to be a similar kind of device where it's mainly mobile, but it can play a dual role as a traditional console as well and being docked and everything. It's going to be built off of mobile technology. It'll be similarly powerful to like what you see with the Steam Deck. Maybe a little bit more advanced, just depending on what hardware they're using and when they're, what hardware it's being developed off of. Okay, dude. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll yell at you, dude. The Last of Us Part 1 gets limited time sale for PS5. This is like the remake or whatever, remaster, right? Oh, it's an actual remake. What? We'll read about it. Star Citizen can get wrecked, dude. I'm not giving that game any kind of airtime. Other than to say that it's ridiculous that game's not in full release 9 years later than it was supposed to initially release. One of the highest grossing games for development in the history of gaming. I mean, it was like what, over $500 million that game has raised from backers and stuff to for development, and it's still not in a full release state. When it was stated it was supposed to full release in 2014. So stupid. Bro, this valet is done. Crown Resorts valet damages 2 Lambos worth 1.8. Sorry, guys. The doc offers big update on Dead Drop development. Let's see what's going on with the Dead Drop game. Wait, what? Looks like God of War Ragnarok appearance at Super Bowl. Meh, whatever. Do people still watch the Super Bowl? The only reason the Super Bowl is good is because of the commercials. I'll stick to that too. Convince me I'm wrong. Sometimes the halftime show can be all right. Last year's was good, in my opinion. Yeah, I used to watch it too, dude. I haven't watched it for shoot, man, probably last half decade though. I've fallen out of the NFL big time, dude. I used to like it a lot. One of the things that kept me in it was fantasy, though. That's one of the things that really kept me watching NFL was just being in a couple of different fantasy leagues. But especially, dude, whenever I quit doing fantasy football, I was just done, dude. I don't watch football at all anymore. I don't even care. I think the thing I miss the most about it is the Super Bowl, anyways, is just sitting down with a big old thing of wings, dude, and just plowing wings while I watch it. But I can eat wings without it, you know. All right, let's get into these. Let's start. Wick's already here, so let's get into this, Wick. You ready, dude? 7 amazing Xbox Game Pass games that you can beat in under 7 hours. I mean, that's a bold statement. They're assuming that like even a Wick can beat these in 7 hours. You're gonna watch it, gamer? Right on. Yeah. Have you traditionally watched it? There's a bold statement right here. They're assuming that Wick can beat these games in 7 hours. You know, we obviously love a big epic adventure here at Pure Xbox, but there's also a growing number of us in the community who are beginning to appreciate the shorter games in the Xbox Game Pass library as our lives get busier. Our potential playing time decreases significantly. Uh, yeah, word, cool. Fortunately, there are some absolutely fantastic titles on Game Pass that you can complete in just a few hours. We don't want you to overlook them. Therefore, in the video above, we've handpicked 7 games under 7 hours that we think you should be able to try. You should absolutely try if you're a fan of shorter games. In addition to the 7 games in the video, there are plenty of others that could be added to the list, including A Way Out, The Gunk, Inside, Titanfall 2's campaign, Proteus, Unpacking, and Rise, Son of Rome, just to name a few. All right, let's see what we got here. Wick, dude, Wick, are you here, dude? Are you ready? You ready for this? Put those smoothies down, dude. This customer's awake. I don't want to start this, dude, without you saying go. All right, hold on. We'll wait until Wick's ready, dude. We'll move on to this for now. Wick, whenever you're ready, dude, tell me and we'll watch that video, dude, so you can see the 7 games that you apparently should be able to handle, dude, on Game Pass, okay? Dr. Disrespect offers big update on Dead Drop development. The doc has offered some pretty substantial information on the development of his new FPS game, Dead Drop. If you haven't been keeping up with it, at the end of 2021, Doc formed his own studio called Midnight Society with a bunch of veterans from the games industry. Ex Call of Duty and Halo developers are helping create a new FPS game that is seemingly being designed in mind with fans. The studio has been approaching game development in a fairly radical way over the last year by allowing fans to play all of the new builds of the game as they are finished. This allows the team to receive feedback on a foundational level and make actual changes. A lot of shooters host alpha and beta tests a few weeks or months before the game releases. It's often too late to actually make any meaningful changes to the gameplay. These snapshots, as Midnight Society has called them, have been released about every month, but allow for greater expansion. The team will be releasing to allow for greater expansion. The team will be releasing these snapshots every 3 months. In a new video, Dr. Disrespect noted they're building upon the foundation they laid for Dead Drop in year one. We'll be adding an armor system with customizable visors and a new sector to what they call the Tower. This new sector is called Cold Storage and will see the arrival of consumable healing items, throwables like smoke grenades, 6 fully completed weapons with 13 attachments, and more when it drops on March 17th. Let's see this. For a gamer, you could just play the game the way that it ends up panning out for you as a game player. Just saying. It's an option. It's definitely one of those types of games, you know what I mean? All right. Yeah, I won't watch this just because the doc's not supposed to be on Twitch and everything, but true. I will say that the mount system in Elden Ring was much better than a lot of the other games I've seen. Boop, power button, yeah. I will say, dude, it's definitely one of those games that doesn't hold your hand, you know. So, be prepared for. I mean, I had situations in the game where I had to figure out. It took me a while sometimes to figure out what I needed to do next, where I needed to go, and how to keep moving along in the storyline and stuff. There were a couple occasions, if I remember correctly, where I was kind of like, God, where am I supposed to be going? What do I need to be doing? You know, it's very not handholdy. Let you just kind of figure things out. So be ready for that. If you don't want to look stuff up, you know. Looks like Dead Drop is shaping out to be something. Yo, Wick, are you ready to watch this video in a second, dude? Yeah, I mean, dude, you know me, man. I don't look stuff up. Yeah, I don't look stuff up for the game. For the games I play, so yeah. Ultimately, it looks like Dead Drop is shaping up to be something pretty interesting. There were a lot of skeptics in year one, given all the video, dude. I already read this article. I've been sitting here talking like, Wick, are you ready? Wick, are you ready? Wick, are you ready? Wick, are you ready? And you were all like, you know, busy, you know, playing around with your stripper chair or something. Ultimately, it looks like Dead Drop is shaping up to be something pretty interesting. There were a lot of skeptics in year one, given all the very untraditional methods being employed on this game. Only time will tell if it pans out, but hopefully the user feedback they're receiving will help shape it into something worthwhile. Dr. Disrespect used to work at Sledgehammer Games as a community manager and eventually a level designer for multiplayer, so he's not exactly out of his depth here. Supported by industry vets. I'll let you guys watch the. There's a link to the Twitter videos and stuff in there too if you're interested. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. All right, dude. All right, now we'll watch the video. Okay, 7 amazing Xbox Game Pass games that apparently anybody can beat in under 7 hours here. That's what it seems like they're trying to get across here, all right?
To play or complete a game.
You go, Wick.
And I'm looking at you, Elden Ring! Gaming in today's economy. Who has time for it? We all do, right? But time is fleeting and very precious. So here is a list of 7 short games on Xbox Game Pass that you can complete in 7 hours or less. Monday mornings here, you are super stressed under all that work you have to do and you need a break. So why not pop an I'm on my lunch break poster on your head and ease your mind with Townscaper. Completion time coming in at roughly 45 minutes. This super satisfying Zen Gamer Garden experience is perfect for those stressful moments where you can't really commit to a complex narrative or sit forward in your chair to best the competition. Not that Townscaper needs to be completed, but more enjoyed as a easygoing, non-committal kind of experience. Picture this, you are stuck in a situation like after school detention, or you're in the waiting room for a dentist you just really don't want to go and see. You want out. Well, it's a good thing it only took you around 4.5 hours to become an ultimate escapist. Escape Academy plops
I
you
think that's a
wham
different
bam in the
game,
middle of some master-crafted escape rooms, all of which were designed by real-life experts. Now, if you think you're a real smarty pants, and I know you do, then you can try to tackle each room by yourself. But if you do get stuck, then you can call on an even smartier smarty pants to come in and give you help via online or local co-op. I hope you like these scenarios I'm pitching, because here's another one. This time, you are a brand spanking new parent with a tiny
Yeah, he's talking to you,
burrito
dog.
thing that's having a nap. So shh, you've got to be quiet. The 6-hour written narrative of
Oh, Citizen Sleeper, dude. I actually want to play
a
this game.
tabletop-inspired RPG is packed full of award-winning sci-fi goodness.
It's supposed to be a good game,
You'll
dude.
keep aboard a ruined space station where you will build colorful relationships and do whatever it takes to survive. But remember, shh, you don't want to wake the baby that you definitely now
Gross.
have. Congrats! Your time window for gaming is very tiny. So tiny, you can barely
You
squeeze
downloaded
anything
Citizen
in,
Sleeper,
and
dude?
I'm looking at you, Eldon
Play it.
Ring. Being
Oh,
on. If only you had a tiny game to fit into that tiny little window. Yeah. Colorful, cute, and only 6 small hours
Tinykin.
are required
Oh,
to gather
yeah,
up all
okay.
of Milo's little buddies to explore the larger-than-life
This is right up your alley too,
adventure
dog.
of Tinykin. This charming adventure is sure to cater to the cozy gamers out there, with shades of Pikmin and in art style similar to
looks
Paper
good.
Mario. See, I wish I was immortal. I really do. Then I'd have all the time in the world for gaming, but I'm not. I'm just this boring mortal person just waiting for death's sweet
All look like games for
Okay,
Busy
that
King.
got a bit dark. Shake it off. Immortality, yes.
Why do
If
you
Netflix
say
ain't
that?
cutting it, cancel your subscription, grab
Oh,
the
immortality,
scissors, and
dude.
do it yourself. Blending movie magic with an interactive touch. Crack on with
This is on
Immortality's
Netflix as
unique
well.
choose your own adventure plot. Concluding around the 6-hour mark, players must cut their way through.
So if you have
3
Netflix
unreleased
and you don't
Marissa
have Game
Marcel
Pass, you
movies
can
to
play this
find
game
out
on
the
Netflix.
mystery of what happened to her. Like, just what happened to her? I don't bloody know. It's a good thing it won't take that long to find out.
It's supposed to be very good too.
Okay. You what? Learning how to shred sick gnar on guitar is gonna take at least 18 months? Sometimes I want to feel metal without having to put in any effort, you know? Slaying the demon hordes of hell has never felt as metal as it does in Metal Hellsinger. For roughly 4
Metal
to 5
Hellsinger.
hours, load yourself up
I haven't
with
heard
a
great
demonic
things
arsenal
about
of
this,
blades
really.
and bullets, and sink murdered demons to a heavy metal soundtrack from artists such as System of a Down, Serge Tankian, or Trivium's Matt Heafy, as well as plenty more. We've had a Zen game, we've had a rhythmic shooter, we've even had this cut-your-own interactive film game thing. So many choices for all the choice lovers out there, including this next one. Picture this, it's 1998, you have 6 hours to pull
This is
off
supposed to be
a
a good
bank
game,
robbery.
too.
That's how long the game is. How are you gonna do it? You gonna go in there guns blazing, or are you going to ask politely? So many key choices! Well, that's As Dusk Falls for you. An interactive drama that explores the entangled lives of 2 families across 30 years, where the choices you make will have a powerful impact on the characters. Uncover vastly different outcomes in a replayable story of betrayal, sacrifice, and resilience. Hopefully, 1 or 2 of these very short Xbox Game Pass titles can fit perfectly into your very, very busy life. And if you enjoyed tailored Xbox lists like this one, then tell me. I can make more! I can make so many more! I can make plenty! There should be 2 cool videos down here somewhere. You should
Hi-Fi
check
Rush
them
is
out.
great
Before
if you
do,
get past the
remember
tutorial,
to do
dude.
the thing. Like, comment, and
Right, Wick? So there you go, dude. There you go. There's some nice. There were some actually really good titles they put in there. I like that video. It was a good video. Good video. Yeah, for sure. The Last of Us Part 1 gets a limited time sale for PS5. I guess, here, look. Just in case. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to throw this in chat for you guys that might be interested in some of those games. That way you have the list, okay? The Last of Us Part 1 gets limited time sale for PS5. PlayStation's new remake of the original The Last of Us, which is formerly titled The Last of Us Part 1, is now on sale for a limited period of time. In recent weeks, excitement for The Last of Us as a property has potentially been at an all-time high. This is largely thanks to HBO's new TV series based on the game, which has been bringing in staggering amounts of viewership for the network. While it seems like The Last of Us will only grow in popularity as this show continues to air, PlayStation is now trying to encourage more people to check out the original video game. As part of Sony's new Deal of the Week promotion on the PlayStation Store, The Last of Us Part 1 has seen a sizable discount. Rather than retailing for its typical value of $70. Oh, God, it hurts, dude. This PS5 remake has now seen its price slashed by 25%. So you can get it for $50, which is what I would say it should probably be retailing for anyways. While this is still a hefty amount for the title, this is one of the better deals that we've seen for The Last of Us Part 1. Oh, yo, gamer, yeah, dude, it's good to see you. I hope you have a good day at work, buddy. We'll see you soon, man. Stay safe, brother. Since it was released last year. Additionally, the game's deluxe edition is also on sale by 25% and now costs $60. For those that might not have a PS5 yet and cannot play The Last of Us Part 1, Sony has marked down the version of the game for PS4 as well. Also available for only a week, The Last of Us Remastered is now a mere $10 on the PS Store, which is 50% off from its typical value. In short, if HBO's The Last of Us series made you interested in playing the video game that the show is based on, this is a great deal that might be worth taking advantage of. All right. If you need it, man. And there you go. Game Boy games make Nintendo Switch Online feel like the ultimate retro subscription. Yeah, dude. This is a huge step in the right direction for Nintendo, I must say. Adding in Game Boy titles to their online service, man, is a really, really solid play by them. It's one of the things that has really set Nintendo apart over the years from other big console players is their handheld market. You know, they've always done the handheld thing, and they've had some amazing handheld titles too. So getting some of their notable Game Boy titles into the Switch Online program, man, is a huge play, and people are really hyped about this. With the way that Nintendo tends to drip feed retro releases, it's easy to forget that it operates an excellent subscription service for fans of classic games. One that showed a lot of promise at launch, and since then it's steadily grown into something that largely fulfills that promise. There are still some issues, but it's affordable and convenient, and with the recent addition of Game Boy games, now has a very impressive library with plenty of room to grow. In case you missed it, Nintendo both announced and launched Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games as part of its NSO subscription during its first Nintendo Direct of the year, which was 2 days ago. Right now, there are 9 original Game Boy titles available, including classics like Metroid 2 Return of Samus, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, and obviously Tetris, which is one of Wick's favorites, along with 6 Game Boy Advance games, most notably the adorable Zelda spin-off, The Minish Cap, and the absolutely hilarious RPG Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga. These platforms join existing ones, including the NES, SNES, N64, and Sega Genesis. Of course, Nintendo should have an excellent retro gaming service. The company arguably has the most enviable history of all of gaming, but historically it has often been reluctant to make that history accessible outside of asking fans to repurchase Super Mario World for every new iteration of its hardware. Yes, this is my big issue with a lot of console makers, the big console players. It's not fair. It's not fair that they don't do backwards compatibility for the people that have been longtime fans and longtime consumers of these platforms, in not allowing people to utilize their old games on new hardware. Obviously, it's harder for something like, you can't throw a Nintendo cartridge into a Switch, right? Like, that's just not something. But, when you talk about things like Xbox is one of the better ones at doing it. But like PlayStation has the capability. They have the capability outside of the PS3, from what I understand. They have the capability to make the PS5 backwards compatible across all other platforms. PS1, PS2, PS4 is there for it. But, they just don't want to do it. They want people to buy into getting the digital versions of the game, or they want people to buy into the subscription service to play the games, even though you might already own the old original versions of the games. And that sucks, dude. The NSO subscription feels like a decent compromise. Nintendo still keeps control while making a huge swath of gaming history accessible to the many people who own a Nintendo Switch. That includes not only the big hits, but also more obscure things like Star Fox 2. The addition of portable games feels ideal for the handheld. It's great to be able to play the original Link's Awakening on the same platform as its beautiful remake, or dig into the miniature world of the Minish Cap. Personally, this is my first time checking out the survival game Alone in the Dark: The New Nightmare. From what I've played so far, the emulation is solid, and the games look particularly bright, colorful, and crisp on the Switch. It would have been nice to have Metroid 2 and Fusion in the lead up to Metroid Dread's launch, but alas, the real win for NSO is that you that's NSO is Nintendo Switch Online, right? You have all these games one click away on a single device. This is Nintendo though, so there are naturally some hiccups. The Game Boy titles have 3 different viewing options: original, pocket, and color, but you can't easily swap between them while playing. And now that there are 6 different retro platforms supported, it has become a bit unwieldy having so many different apps on the Switch home screen. It would be much simpler to have a single app like Netflix or Spotify that you could then filter by platform. The service is also split into pricing tiers, making it needlessly complex. A $20 annual price gets you access to the NES, SNES, and Game Boy titles, but the Game Boy Advance, Genesis, and N64 are locked behind the $50 tier, which in fairness does get you other things like DLC for Splatoon and Mario Kart. There's just more and 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 more, pay 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 more and more and more, and then people are like, yeah, but the price for games hasn't increased, you know, in 20 years. Again, it hasn't needed to. The price for a game on release hasn't needed to because of all these other things that have come about that people have to pay for. Even with these issues, NSO's simplest and cheapest official way to play these games. It's not necessarily the best option for more casual players, the kind who don't want to collect old cartridges or spend hours digging through video game history ephemera. It's good enough. And with the addition of Game Boy Advance, I might finally get the chance to play Mother 3 one day. I'll say this. This is very good. I'm glad Nintendo's doing this. Nintendo has traditionally been very, very bad at giving people access to their historical games. The Verge's site is looking way different than it used to. I'll throw this in. They've got a video in here. I want to show you something else too, though. If you are a fan of traditional, like retro cartridges and stuff, especially for handhelds, I'm going to show you a very, very cool device, which is called the Pocket, or the Analog Pocket. And this device is out of the box able to play over 2,700 Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games. There are also adapters that allow you to play Neo Geo Pocket, Atari Lynx, Game Gear, stuff like that, right? So this is a very cool device. It's got a dock just like the Switch does. It plays, you can see the difference in like original Game Boy games and then the more advanced kind of Game Gear games and stuff like that, right? So you get the same kind of traditional old school Game Boy look, and then the more advanced handheld games that you can play on here. It's also got a synthesizer, sequencer, stuff for making music in it. It's got a dock for playing it on monitors, and you can sync up wireless controllers to it, things like that. It's a very cool device for playing retro cartridges, right? Because I think the thing that's nice here is obviously having the hardware is very cool too, but having a singular device which you can just pop in all these different cartridges to play is very, very, very handy. Instead of having to get every single like piece of hardware out for each different kind of Game Boy or whatever, this is a pretty cool device, and it's about 220 US, USB-C. It's very cool. Look at it. It's pretty neat. If you like your retro cartridges and stuff, this is a pretty solid piece of hardware here. Knockout City's closure is part of a painful truth of the games industry. Yeah. Um, GameSpot caught up with Velen Studios to discuss the life and death of its taken too soon dodgeball game. Tried to figure out why the modest success is often not enough in the live service market. Knockout City's days are numbered, but for Velen Studios, there's still a strong sense of optimism. Though the live service PvP dodgeball game nears its second anniversary on May 21st, it'll only exist in its current state for another few weeks beyond that. In a February blog post, Velen revealed that Knockout City will be taken offline on June 6th, with the silver lining exception being that Velen will enable private servers to be hosted on the PC thereafter. The news came as the latest in a series of live service game closures that defined January. And looking back a few years proves this was no 1 month trend. And it's getting harder to stay afloat in the competitive and ever-changing world of live service video games. As Knockout City is a personal favorite of mine, the news hit me like, well, a dodgeball to the face. I mean, if you can dodge a wrench, you know what I mean? I wanted to speak to the team to find out what it's like when a game you love working on is ending on the market's terms rather than your own. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. Though those I spoke to admitted there is a sadness to the situation, they weren't without hope for what's next, both within Velen and across the industry, even if it'll take a paradigm shift to get things where they need to be. Thank you. This is my favorite game I've ever worked on, game director Jeremy Russo told me, and it's also one of my favorite games I've ever played. I still play this, and if you talk to most developers, none of them play their own game. But I still have a blast logging in and playing with my friends, grouping up and going into these brawls. Russo explained how the 6 years on Knockout City were remarkably formative for the studio, which was established in 2016, and has otherwise developed augmented reality racing games like Mario Kart Live Home Circuit and the upcoming Hot Wheels Rift Rally. We built the team, we built an engine, we built this entire game experience, we released it. Running a live ops experience was the first time a lot of us had ever done that, even though we've been in the industry for a long time. And so what we did accomplish in terms of the critical praise we had at launch and the ridiculously adoring community that we have, it's tough to feel anything other than that this was successful, and to think of the pride that I have in the team and in the game itself. There were a few words that came up in a lot of my 40-minute chat with Russo, CEO Karthik Bala, and marketing director Josh Harrison. Pride was one of them. Analytics was another. Really depends on what it is we're trying to improve at that given time, Russo told me when I asked what Velen's live ops analytics actually investigate. Are we looking at, concurrency, retention, monetization? Like, what are we actually testing with this new idea? Then we'll add analytics for that specific topic, and we'll kind of laser in on that. A lot of us were figuring that out as we went along and discovered, okay, we think we have a problem here. Let's add some data to try to verify that. Okay, now let's try to add a new feature or change a feature to try and prove that number. If that sounds unclear, I'd agree. For live service games, especially, analytics are a vital compass for studios. You have to amass data, find the weakness to improve on, or strengths to further solidify, then tweak the game and see how these data points change. When things are pointing in the right direction, players are playing a lot at once. They're returning to play often. They're spending in-game currency. Your live service game is probably doing well, but when the numbers suggest trouble ahead, it can be hard to pivot because attribution can be hazy. Did players disengage because of a change you made to your game or because of something external, such as another game launching or becoming the next big thing on Twitch? There's a variety of factors at play, making the science of measuring success unclear. Even clear-headed pivots take time and resources from other areas, especially on an indie team like this one. There's no autopilot, Bala said. And when we're looking at feedback from the community and things that are needed, there's a set of leads that are on the project, like Jeremy. We have lead engineers and artists in physics, the core brain trust. And so if we're trying to retool, that small core creative team and technical team is needed to be able to do that. But it's that same team that's running the day-to-day, and there isn't this large powerhouse of people somewhere maintaining and running the game. I love Knockout City, and I'd play it even if the cycle of new brawl passes and in-game events were absent for what Velen might say is a retooling period of months or even a year. That's my point of view as a fan who is already heavily invested. In reality, the internet is not static, as Bala explained, and the team needed to both retool the game in foundational ways while also keeping the major content and beats intact if they wanted to keep most players coming back. It did come down to metrics, Bala told me, being able to have the retention of players. We had a strong core community, but a lot of people who really enjoy the game kind of just came through. They may go away for a while, they may come back, but the overall retention rate, which is critical to the heartbeat of any kind of live service game, has to be a certain level month to month to make it make sense. Otherwise, you're not able to create a sustainable business to keep going. And that's the cold, hard reality that we had to face, which makes this really hard and really emotional. One moment, guys.
Hacker Man. He's the most powerful hacker of all time.
Wait, hacker mans. Sorry, dudes. Sorry, dudes and dudettes. Yeah, hold on. Let's get back in it. In a market that can turn on a dime, remember Fortnite's almost overnight usurping of PUBG's throne. The volatility of live service world as both a fight for your money and time makes developing in this space incredibly difficult. Despite over 12 million players since launch, Knockout City joins countless other games that struggle to find a happy medium. It wasn't the biggest game in the world, but neither were its lobbies. Empty. I've played other games where at the end of their days you find yourself queuing up with the same 6 to 10 others because you're literally the last player in the community. From the outside, Knockout City was doing much better than that, but it was also far from the frontier tier. And currently it feels scary as a player, and surely as a developer too, to see game preservation on both macro and micro levels in doubt going forward. If great games like Knockout City can't achieve stability and are nearly scrubbed from history, is there a future in live service games that isn't all or nothing? Answering that question reveals a painful truth, said Bala, but he likened a way out of it, similar to when we saw the rise of breakout indie games that could find success in a sea of gargantuan AAA games. Free-to-play business, if you're not at scale, is really, really tough. We went from games that could be multiplayer only and be mid-price premium to for multiplayer only. You have to be free-to-play to be able to get a global scale. If you don't get escape velocity, it's really hard to keep the lights on. And I think the industry is going to evolve from this. There's going to be new models. I don't think the players are going to stay satisfied with just the massive games that are dominating. Going to get some breakout stuff under new business models. And that players are going to enjoy it. I don't think we're there yet, personally, but I think this is also the exciting part for us because we do have ideas of where it can go. For Bala, he envisions a meeting of the minds ahead. I think we're not only the studio in this particular boat, and there's GDC coming up, the DICE conference coming up, because it's kind of a hot topic amongst our peer group. We're going to be particularly talking a lot about it. I don't think we know the answer yet, Russo added. I think it's an industry-wide thing that needs to happen. The industry needs to figure this out. Like the example of single-player games, how they kind of figured out a different approach to creating quality content. For multiplayer-focused indie games, I think that's the next big business model to figure out so that it can be sustainable right away from the start with small audiences, experimental game features. The conversation was certainly bittersweet. It's clear. In the best case scenario, Knockout City would have continued for longer, but still Harrison said the game has been such a vital learning experience for everyone, though that better days are ahead. That's one of the things I was telling everybody. I know that there are a lot of people that were, there are a lot of games that have shut down recently, and especially for smaller developer, even these games that a lot of people liked, people were going, why? Why are they shutting down? It's like, well, it's apparently just wasn't sustainable, for them to keep it open. There weren't enough people playing, but not all was lost, right? I mean, you have to take into consideration that these were probably great learning experiences for these studios. Does it feel bad? Absolutely. there's no doubt about the fact, especially you can tell how much passion they had behind this project, right? So obviously it's going to feel bad. But all you can really ask is that they're taking lessons learned out of this and going to incorporate it into something better moving forward, right? What? Conversation was certainly bittersweet. It's clear. Yeah. This is the end of this chapter of Knockout City, but this may not be the end of Knockout City in general. He said, referring to what the team has publicly called the Knockout City universe. We're not looking back at this franchise and saying like, hey, this IP isn't that great. We love Knockout City. If we can solve some of these challenges, there's a world where we may bring it back. There's a world where we may look at a different element of this IP. And even if neither of those things happen, we've still learned so much from this that whatever we make next is going to take cues from everything that we've learned here and be better because of it. We have teams working on really exciting prototyping projects that are only possible because of what we've done here. It's hard not to look at that in a positive light. Absolutely. For more on Knockout City's final days ahead and how the team has enabled the game to live on in some way after June 6th, there's a link to a blog post here. What's LOL learning experience? What's that about? There's that LinkedIn chat for you guys. But you act like that's an easy thing. What did that even come from? Okay. So here's the deal though. Um did you report that to them? Did you give them critical feedback on that? Did they have a reporting method for people to provide feedback? So I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm going to bring up some important things here that I talk about a lot in regards to the importance of you know, harboring a really good relationship between a developer and its community, the player base, and its consumer. And it comes down to what you're talking about, right? First of all, okay. So yeah, I know that Cash did a lot of stuff with that game. I know there are other people that did as well. But there's things to bring up here, right? So obviously feedback is an important thing. And if it goes both ways though, right? I mean, there has to be a dedicated set up ways for people to provide that feedback. Yeah. And that's on the shoulders of the developer. Yeah. Um excuse me. So I'm not even going to get into what you're talking about, like the issues were in the game, because I believe you, whatever you're saying, because I didn't play the game. I mean, I believe you that there were issues in the game. I'm going to talk about just the core things that come about when you're talking about developers not taking in constructive feedback from communities, right? So first and foremost, I think that every developer should have some form in a live, any kind of live service game, right? There should be an appropriate way to provide feedback. If that's not there, the developer's failing, right? The other thing that's hard is um, the it's gonna be a hard anytime to differentiate between players that actually know what they're talking about and players that are just spouting crap out of their mouths that have no idea. They're just shooting crap information at you, and you're having to filter one from the other. You know what I'm saying? So, and especially it's easy. It's going to be easier for a bigger company to dedicate resources towards this kind of thing than it is for a smaller developer company to dedicate resources towards this kind of thing. But I'm not saying you're wrong. Okay, I'm just trying to get everybody to understand where there can be issues in incorporating this kind of thing for certain developers. Now, again, yeah, it absolutely falls on the shoulders of the developer to ensure there are clear lines of communication and gaining feedback from the community. You know what I mean? For a live service game, because if things are wrong and consensus among most of the players in a community, that's what you're looking for from feedback, right? If you're getting feedback and 75% of the feedback that's coming in are noting the same issues, you have to take that seriously into consideration of changing your game. If you've got that many different accounts giving you that feedback, then you have to seriously take a look, right? But there's always going to be the case of having to filter out crap feedback from actual constructive feedback, right? And then from the good constructive feedback you're getting, right, you're still going to have to take a really, really hard look at what is worth potentially changing in your game and what is not. And that's something that's really, really hard to do for developers, I think. Um, so, and I hear what you're talking about, blaming it on a structure within the industry for sure. But I've talked about this a lot too. I mean, you literally have to come up with something. Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You would think so, dude. You would think so. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, again, I know that you laughed kind of at the lessons learned thing, or the learning experience, but it doesn't mean that they won't go back and take a look at the game as a whole, and they're still trying to dissect what could have been better, and maybe they'll see some of those kinds of things. You know what I mean? But I think that it's important for people to understand that it's not real cut and dry, and it's not real easy all the time. You know what I mean? And I agree with you, dude. I'm not demeaning what you're saying. I think that what you're talking about is very important, and I talk about all the time the issues that we see. Oh, I agree. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you have to be. I talk about developer progression all the time. you know, and what I want to see from a developer. I was talking about it yesterday with Casual about the Legend of Zelda stuff. There are things about Breath of the Wild that were great, and there were things about Breath of the Wild that I didn't like too much. And the things that I didn't like too much had a lot to do with some of the fighting mechanics and the quality of life stuff in the game. I expect to see better with Tears of the Kingdom because I don't care if you're an indie dev or if you're if you're Nintendo. I expect to see better in future iterations of what you're doing. You know what I mean? Um, as the type of gamer I am and the kind of passion I have for the industry, I want to see progression. I want to see you do better as you move forward, right? Absolutely. And I often talk about trying to, you know, create an atmosphere where developers feel comfortable opening lines of communication with us as the game players. That's one of the reasons it's so important. What we're talking about right now, right? Getting that feedback to developers and getting them to listen, dude. Getting them to listen. But it's the crap that we see all the time where you get these flipping people that are out of their minds and they're showing up at companies or showing up at developers flipping houses, like their private residence or whatever. That's the kind of stuff, or they're getting hacked, or they're getting harassed online through lines of communication that have been opened up. That's the kind of stuff that has to stop, because that's the stuff that breaks down those lines of communication. You know what I mean? So, it's a two-way road, and we want there to be, as passionate gamers and as civilized human beings, we want those lines of communication to be there, because that's a big part of it, man. Getting to be able to provide feedback to developers to say, yo, I'm enjoying your game, but you have some issues and I think it could be better, and getting them to listen to that feedback is important. But if we keep having issues of people doing stupid crap like what I was just talking about, it breaks down those lines of communication, and it makes them a lot less likely to listen to us, because we get stereotyped as a bunch of, uncivilized gameplay and idiots that, are just going to harass people, and, we don't know what we're talking about, stuff like that. So, it's a tough situation, but I agree with you, dude. I absolutely wholeheartedly do. It's a tough situation all the way around, because it requires work on both sides, from us as the fans of the games and the players and the consumer, and it takes a lot of work from the developer too. But I agree, for a game to really really shine and be successful, you need to listen to your player base. You need to know what they're saying is good and bad about the game, so you can continue to progress in keeping things good and changing things that are bad to be better. I agree with you. League of Legends source code allegedly on the black market for $700,000. The oh oh really? I've just My voice is just kind of cutting out a little bit and stuff, dude. I'm just I'm just jacked up. No, I'm not gonna be sick. It's just I'm just jacked up. Mm. What do I sound like? I'm gonna throw up. No, I'm not. I probably won't stream all day. No. Yeah, I will have to. I won't be able to do a full day, dude. I definitely need to rest. We got a hectic weekend coming up too, and I need to make sure that I'm mostly over this. Um, yeah, we got stuff going on this weekend, so I need to try to get over it mostly, hopefully by tomorrow. I thought I was done, dude. I thought I was over this, and all of a sudden it smacked me in the face again, dude. Sucks. I'm just real beat up, dude. No, I don't feel like I'm gonna throw up, or I don't feel nauseous. I'm just lots of congestion. My nose is like jacked, and my throat's still sore and stuff. So sorry. Um, so what's crazy about this is that Riot was telling everybody initially that no sensitive player data was actually obtained by the hackers in the leak. Interesting. League of Legends source code allegedly on the black market for $700,000. A couple of weeks have passed since Riot, developer of League of Legends and Teamfight Tactics, got hacked through a social engineering attack. Following the hack, League of Legends source code, which includes Riot's anti-cheat software, has now been put up for sale in the black market, priced at $700,000, according to a report by Esports Haven. The hacker, who goes by the name of RCAT001, apparently gained access to the League of Legends and Teamfight Tactics source code and an older version of Riot's anti-cheat software, Pac-Man. On top of that, anti-cheat software for the South Korean region, codenamed Demacia, was also obtained. Riot also said in a tweet that the illegally obtained data included experimental features. While we hope some of these game modes and other changes eventually make it out to players, most of this content is in prototype. There's no guarantee it will ever be released, they said. The data gathered by the hackers amounted to be to about 72.4 gigs in total, with around 572,000 files. The hacker originally wanted Valorant access. The original goal of RCAT001 was to gain access to Valorant's anti-cheat software Vanguard, mainly because the software functions like a rootkit. The hacker was kicked from the network before they could gain access to Vanguard's files. The hacker gained access to Riot's database through an SMS sent to an employee, which was also used to gain access to the security credentials of one of the directors at Riot Games. RCAT001 also said that he allegedly has player-sensitive data like email addresses and admin access to send Riot points to players, which contradicts Riot's statement that no sensitive player information had been leaked. Yeah. Riot previously received a ransom email from the hackers and was asked to pay US $10 million in exchange for not leaking the code. However, the developer had already confirmed that they had refused to pay the ransom. The hacker then returned to the underground market via one popular forum that traffics databases. First, by attempting to auction off the League of Legends source code, with bids starting at US $1 million, according to a report by PC Mag. This is very valuable for cheat developers. It's a huge game. I'm sure it would be at every advantage for a cheat developer, RCAT001 wrote. RCAT has since then offered the source code for $700,000. Riot has admitted that the cyber attack could compromise the game and make it more vulnerable to cheats. Truthfully, any exposure of source code can increase the likelihood of new cheats emerging, Riot tweeted on 24 January. Since the attack, we've been working to access its impact on anti-cheat and to be prepared to deploy fixes as quickly as possible if needed. Since RCAT001's post, Riot has not commented on the auction and black market prices. You talking about me, dude? Mom! Wick called me a loser. Oh my god, Kayla. Y'all, I love V8 juice, by the way. Give me that spicy V8, you know? I love it. I dumped V8 juice all up the front of me and then cut myself. I'm so sorry. That sucks. Yeah. That's interesting that Riot was saying that that's how my work did. I'm so sorry, dude. That sucks. I'm so sorry. It's interesting that Riot was saying that no personal information was obtained, and now the hacker themselves is trying to confirm that it actually was. How is my throat? It's better than it was yesterday. It's still a little jacked, though, if you can't hear it, man. Nintendo responds to fan concerns over future $70 Switch games. Nintendo has released new messages responding to fan concerns about future Switch games being $70. Within the past day, how are you feeling, dude? I know you haven't been feeling great either. I mean, what's up with you, dude? Within the past day, Nintendo confirms that its biggest release of 2023, Tears of the Kingdom, would retail for $70 US. While this is a price that has become somewhat common on PS5 and Xbox Series X, Tears of the Kingdom is the first game that Nintendo has ever sold at this value. Luckily, based on what the Japanese company has now said, it doesn't seem like this will be a trend for the long haul. Yes, it will. They said that lower tier games won't hit 70. Nintendo said that don't expect their lower tier games to hit 70, but their higher tier games are absolutely going to, basically, is what it came down to. We read it yesterday. In a new series of statements given to Game Informer, Nintendo confirmed that its higher price for Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom will essentially be a one-off situation, at least for now. We determine the suggested retail price for any Nintendo product on a case-by-case basis. A representative from Nintendo said of the situation. With this in mind, it seems as though Nintendo decided only to sell Tears of the Kingdom at a higher price, but other upcoming games like Pikmin 4 won't be sold at the same value. Speaking more about whether or not future Switch games that haven't yet been announced will also cost $70, Nintendo responded with a flat no. There's another quote, though. Again, while it was stressed that prices are only determined on a case-by-case basis, it sounds like Nintendo currently has no plans to make the $70 the new normal for all of its first-party titles. No, not all, but its higher-tier titles are absolutely going to be $70. When it comes to Tears of the Kingdom specifically, Nintendo's largest exclusive of the year is set to release in just a few short months. As of this week, pre-orders for Tears of the Kingdom are now live. I already have an issue with $70 being the norm for any platform. And Nintendo's even worse because their prices don't ever drop, dude. So, and you know with Tears of the Kingdom, it's going to be $70 up front. Then there's going to be DLC. And then there's going to be amiibos they want you to buy. And, keep going. Just keep going. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I was asking too, Kayla. He wasn't. He's not answering me. His throat must really be hurting. PUBG developer is making a Tarkov-style extraction shooter. The looter shooter aims to popularize the extraction shooter genre. PUBG Studio is currently working on an extraction shooter. It has been confirmed. As reported by The Loadout, back in November, PUBG publisher Krafton shared a new PvP looter shooter codenamed Project Black Budget was in the works. While details were slim at the time, Krafton's latest earnings report reveals the game will have an ever-changing PvPvE, open world, and satisfying gunplay that will create unpredictable experiences. Krafton added that Project Black Budget aims to popularize the extraction shooter genre based on its PUBG production and service experience. The studio is still determining which platforms Project Black Budget will launch on, but notes that it's considering a mobile launch along with PC and console releases. In a statement issued to The Loadout, Krafton confirmed that PUBG Studios will be Project Black Budget's developer. Elsewhere, Krafton's earning report touches on 3 other games that are in the works. The first is a sequel to Subnautica, which was confirmed to be in development last year. Now, Krafton has shared that the sequel will feature more expansive maps, creatures, and interactions, along with an augmented experience. 2 other untitled games, codenamed Project Gold Rush and Project Windless, are also in development. While the first is a live service action-adventure sandbox targeting a Western audience, the second is a game based on South Korean web novel The Bird That Drinks Tears. Yeah, we read about that months ago and then yesterday as well. As for PUBG, last month it received a major update that brought deadly weather conditions, repairable gear, and powerful hidden loot for players to uncover. Okay, interesting. Well, we'll see as we get more information on those. Lord of the Rings RoboCop games to be shown off at new NACON event. Fans of RoboCop and The Lord of the Rings have a date in March to look forward to now, with games from both of those series set to be shown off during the next NACON event. NACON, the publisher that owns the rights to the upcoming The Lord of the Rings Gollum and RoboCop Rogue City, announced a NACON Connect event, for March 9th, an event which will be the second of its kind following last year's event that brought us our first look at RoboCop Rogue City gameplay. The next NACON event was announced on social media, and while NACON didn't offer much in the way of specifics as to what parts of the game it'll show off, the publisher did at least reference 4 games that'll be there. RoboCop, Gollum, focused Lord of the Rings spinoff, 2 other games the publisher handles, Ad Infinitum and Raven's Watch will also be there. The event will get underway on March 9th at 7 p.m. CET, which is 10 a.m. Pacific time. That would be noon for us. So we'll probably watch it. While we may see other games there, given that slate for the event broadly teased some of our upcoming 2023 games, we can count on those 4 being there at a minimum. RoboCop was announced last year, slated for a 2023 release, but no specific date has been announced yet. The Gollum game was supposed to release last year, but it's been delayed more than once, which is not a good sign. Most recent delay was one announced in 2022, which put the game on hold indefinitely. Got a release window earlier this year and is now scheduled to be out at some point in the first half of Nacon's 2023-2024 fiscal year. Wick, what's the fiscal year, brother? You got this, dude. I know you do. Given that it's under the events umbrella of upcoming 2023 games, one would hope that it will indeed release this year. First half of the fiscal year would mean sometime between like probably April and September, something like that. Yeah, April to September. I got you, Wick. No worries. Here you go, guys. Wrestling fans, yeah. Don't make me laugh, dude. It hurts. Stop it. Stop. AEW Fight Forever gameplay. No thanks. Fight Forever has received its official ESRB rating as the game draws closer to its release. AEW Fight Forever will be the first console video game offering from All Elite Wrestling. Recently, it was reported by Matt Black, of WrestleZone. The game had not received an official release date because they were unable to acquire a teen rating from the ESRB. It has officially gotten it now, though. Rating summary. Throat burns a little, up and moving. You all forget I work or something. You don't work. I'm sorry your throat hurts, dude. This is a wrestling game in which players compete in matches with wrestlers from the AEW roster. Players use punches, kicks, and grappling maneuvers to drain their opponent's health. In some match types, players can use barbed wire, baseball bats, metal chairs, and Molotov cocktails against opponents, eventually resulting in submission and or knockouts. Blood splatter effects can occur during matches, staining the mats. Video footage of real matches also depicts blood on wrestlers' faces and bodies. The game contains some mildly suggestive material, female wrestlers in revealing outfits, wrestlers performing taunting gestures. Real footage sometimes depicts wrestlers drinking alcohol and smoking. The word curse words are heard in the game. AEW Fight Forever doesn't have an announced release date at this moment, but we have learned about some plans for the game in the future, including long-term plans to update AEW Fight Forever as opposed to making annual releases. Okay. It didn't say what the rating was, though. What's the ESRB? But I guess they're saying T for teen. We'll take a look real quick. This is all dude. Ow. All right, yeah. So AEW Fight Forever is supposed to be more of a like arcade style wrestling game than maybe what you would get from a 2K wrestling WWE wrestling game, right? But cool. There you go. It's in chat if you need anything from it. Last article I have for the day. So if you have anything to add, let me know. We'll address it. We'll talk about it before we get out of the news segment. All right. Bobby Kotick will absolutely remain Activision CEO if Microsoft deal fails, it's claimed. How is this full? How has he maintained? I don't understand, dude. How has he stayed at the top of this organization, dude? After all the crap that Activision Blizzard has gone through, all the terrible stuff we found out about the way this company's been run, this fool has stayed at the top of it? How? Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick is expected to remain in his current role should Microsoft's proposed acquisition fall through, its claim. In January 2022, the Wall Street Journal reported that sources said to be familiar with Kotick's plan told the outlet they'd expected the controversial CEO to leave. While it's still to be definitively confirmed whether this is actually the case, Fox Business now claims Kotick will stay as CEO if the deal breaks down. The publication claims that according to sources close to this situation, Kotick will absolutely remain at the gaming giant to run the company should regulators derail the plan to take over. Despite reports suggesting that Kotick is expected to leave Activision Blizzard once the deal is done, the company claimed in a report to shareholders in April that Kotick hasn't discussed his plans before the acquisition announcement. Still hadn't up to that point. Excuse me. No discussions or negotiations regarding post-closing employment arrangements with Microsoft occurred during Microsoft and Mr. Kotick prior to the approval and the execution of the merger agreement and the transactions contemplated thereby, or have occurred subsequent to such approval and execution through the date hereof, the report claimed. Should he be terminated following Microsoft's acquisition, Kotick could be in line to receive hundreds of millions of dollars. Kotick had come under fire following a November 2021 report by the Wall Street Journal, which alleged that he was aware of multiple sexual misconduct allegations at Activision Blizzard and was enabling a toxic workplace culture at the company. Before Microsoft announced that it planned to buy Activision Blizzard, around 1,900 of its approximately 10,000 employees signed a petition calling for Kotick to resign, something he reportedly told senior managers he would be willing to do if he couldn't quickly fix the culture problems at the company. Kotick has generally been quiet since the proposed acquisition was announced, but spoke out earlier this week to warn the UK's Competition and Market Authority that blocking the deal would be a major blow to the UK's government ambition of becoming a technology superpower. In a subsequent interview to the Financial Times, he then accused Sony of trying to sabotage Microsoft's takeover of the company, claiming that PlayStation chief Jim Ryan has stopped talking to both. Yeah, I do think that Sony is just being anti-competitive themselves and blocking this, but Bobby Kotick seems like an absolute trash can, if you ask me. I don't know how he's still at the top of that. That's what I got. That's what I got. Sorry, I know that I'm talking really soft. It's very apparent that I'm sick, so I do apologize. I'm trying to push through, man, and get some content done. I love being here. I love doing this stuff with you guys, and I'll get my rest, so I'll get it. But we'll move on. We'll do a little bit of gaming today, and it probably won't be a full day like normal, because I do need to get some rest. I got a busy weekend ahead of me, and I need to try to make sure that I'm in decent health to take care of it. So aside from the streaming stuff that we're going to do this weekend too, as always. So you guys are amazing. Thank you very much. It's cool, dude. Hogwarts Legacy is cool. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. You're such a troll, dog. Thanks for being you. Thanks for being part of the news segment and part of what makes this community so amazing, man. You guys are awesome. We're gonna move on and do some day 4 stuff in Hogwarts Legacy. Hopefully, unlock some talents today, because we're pretty pumped up on level, man, and we need to unlock our talents. So we'll get in there and play around a little bit today. If anybody's checking out our content, man, whether it be highlights on the Twitch channel or VODs on YouTube, we got news, video gaming news we do. We got all kinds of playthroughs that are up on the sites. We got funny, crazy highlights of me malding out from hard playthroughs, all kinds of stuff. If you're enjoying any of it, come see what you can do about hanging out with myself and the rest of these amazing individuals that are part of this community when we go live at 6 a.m. CST every single day. And we start off with the news every single day, and then we hop into whatever gameplay we have planned. All right? Other than that, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind. And we will catch everybody tomorrow for February 11th edition of Video Gaming News and more Hogwarts Legacy. Cool? Ha ha!